What's wrong with being confident? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being confident? It's time to get the chains out. Is your tongue tied up? 'Cause this is my ground, and I'm dangerous, and you can get off, but it's all about me tonight. So you say I'm complicated, that I must be out of my mind, but you've had me underrated. So you say I'm complicated, but you've had me
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the... Hey, you made me up, you made me a believer, believer. Hey, you break me down, you built me up, believer, believer. Bullets fly, oh, let them rain. My life, my love, my drive, it came from. Hey, you made me up, believer, believer. up above. Oh, ooh. I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings they would drown, but they never did. Ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like. You burn me up, believer, believer. You burn me up, believer, believer. Hey, let the bullets fly, rain. My love, my God, it came from. You burn me up, believer, believer. Last days last by the grace of the fire and the flames. You're the face of the future, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh. But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like.
I want to stop. We can't.
May natin read it. You can read it.
She just wants to be beautiful. She goes unnoticed. She knows no limit. She craves attention. She praises an image she prays to be sculpted by the sculptor.
And Jess Carmel,
This Francesca.
And Miles.
Myron,
Somebody say
Lauren,
Mike.
Joanna, Christine,
Josh.
You know what?
Miranda,
Howard.
Grace,
See, the
Where
light is shining deeper than the eyes can find it. Maybe we're made of blind souls. She tries to cover up her pain. Cut her woes away. 'Cause cover girls don't cry after the face is made. But there's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing. The world could change, it's hard. No scars, see you're beautiful. With stars and we're beautiful.
my peers, and then there was me.
And a lot of people aren't afraid to give their opinions, whether they're hurtful or not.
People would laugh and stare.
People watching you eat and making little comments.
Because I grew up thinking that I had to look a certain way.
I never thought I was as pretty as the other girls.
Be proud of it. I shouldn't be trying to hide it.
And you don't have to change a thing. The world could change, it's hard. No scars, see you're beautiful. With stars and we're beautiful. She has dreams to be an envy, so she's starving, you know. Cover girls eat nothing. She says beauty is pain and there's beauty in everything. What's a little bit of hunger? I can go a little while longer. She fades away.
What I love about people is when they're just being themselves and not worrying about what they look like.
Eyelashes and my hair extensions, it was what we don't have.
It's been something that I've struggled with my entire life, not feeling like I fit in.
See, her perfect, she don't understand. She's worth it. All that beauty goes deeper than the surface. Oh, oh. So to all the girls that's hurting, let me be your mirror. Help you see a little bit clearer. The light that shines within. There's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing. The world could change, it's hard. No scars, see you're beautiful.
just wait until you can get out of that bubble, because the things that seem like weaknesses, that seem like weird things that make you strange, when you become an adult, you get out into the world, you're gonna find out that all those differences, they're like your greatest strengths.
And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change, it's hard. No scars, say you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful. No better you than the you that you are. No better life than the life we're living. No better time for you to shine, you're a star. Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're beautiful.
A lot of it was in my own head. I realize now.
There's always someone that's unique now, which was the cool part, and that's what made me comfortable to realize that every single person is different.
My personality outshines everything else at the end of the day.
What only matters is what I think of myself, and that everyone has different kinds of beauty.
Smile. Smile.
And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change, it's hard. No scars, say you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful.
Good afternoon. Is everybody hearing me? Because I'm not quite sure.
Yes, we're hearing you. Good afternoon.
Okay. All right, well, welcome guys. Welcome to the EAC Best Self Conference. And my name is Kareem and I welcome you guys all here. Today's theme is embracing your best self. And this is the second edition of the Best Self Conference. And in this conference, we'll cover the financial literacy, personal branding, and also student leadership. So at this time, we will do the welcome and the overview of the event by Peter Gay Gentles. Peter Gay, are you hearing me? Are you here?
Hi, good evening. I am here. Thank you. All right, guys. So good evening. I am the EAC, Peter Gage Gentles. I can't turn on my video now because I'm on the road, as you can hear in my background. I just want to say thank you all for joining us this evening, and Best of Conference. Best Self Conference is something that myself, when I serve as deputy EA, is about embracing your best self, embracing the inner you, the inner legend, trying to reach your full potential. And we have a panel of great speakers who will help you to understand that best self that you are hiding, or that are help you to come to that best self. We have Jeffrey Azan from last year. We have David Soon. We have student leaders, great student leaders. And I just want to say to sit back, relax, and listen to them. And I must say thank you to my deputy, Evelyn Reed Trevon Fletcher, for planning this, and to the project managers for the full execution. I'm excited to see the great stuff they have done and to see them come to fruition. So just relax and enjoy. Thank you. Our host is having some technical difficulties. This virtual life is not it, but we will continue, and we'll have my dear project manager, Miss Wilson, introduce our keynote speaker. Miss Wilson, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. International motivational speaker, author, personal and professional development coach, martial artist, and toast maker. Jeffrey spread his entrepreneurial wings back in 2011 after having worked in the family retail business close to 18 years. Utilizing his innate business knowledge and his business schooling from the Boston University, Jeffrey tried his hands in a number of industries, including network marketing, events promotion, consultancy, and even the launch of his own cafe in partnership with his mentor at the time. In addition to his efforts in business, he also took on managerial roles and market research roles within a marketing company and distributional company, respectively. Outside of his professional background, Jeffrey possesses a martial arts history with close to 15 years of study and teaching of karate, and a complementary 7 years of public speaking and leadership training with Toastmakers International. In relation to martial arts, Jeffrey currently holds the rank of third degree black belt with ISKF, while simultaneously achieving a number of designations in Toastmakers International, most notably the 2017 Caribbean Speech Champion for Impromptu Speaking. In 2013, Jeffrey found the key to unlocking his potential, and since then, he has been on a mission to share that key with others. He's taken all that he has learned from his years in business, schooling, and martial arts, and Toastmakers International to produce talks, workshops, and coaching strategies that help people and organizations maximize their potential. This includes the publishing of his first book, Self-Discussions, Weekly Lessons from Life. This mission has granted Jeffrey the opportunity to share his thoughts and teachings in a number of live and digital settings, including Jamaica's most prominent TV interview profile with the late Ian Boyne. All of Jeffrey's teachings stem from a simple philosophy: change your game, change your life. Help us welcome to this platform, Jeffrey Azan.
Good evening, as I like to say, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Best Self Conference. I am honored to be your keynote speaker this evening. I can sense a bit of frustration in the organizers and the host and the whole team, but don't worry, technical difficulties happen to all of us. It is the age of, Digicel and flow control in the industry, and we know how reliable they can be all the time. So don't worry about it. These things happen. And we're on a mission to really uncover our best selves. And what's our best self if it's not going through some struggles and some hardships along the way? So let's jump into it. And I want to start off with this idea of what is our best self? Well, before we even get into the idea of the best self, who are we? Who is this self to then go on and be the best version of it? And for me, this is where the real journey starts, because in my own journey, my own life, it took me a long time because I went away from myself and then I had to come back to myself. You see, something that I've become very aware of is many of us are taught the same programming throughout life. We're told, go to school, get an education. When you get an education, then maybe you'll be able to get a degree or a certificate. When you get that degree or certificate, hopefully you'll be able to get a job. When you get the job, hopefully you'll be able to make some money. After you make some money, then possibly you can get a partner. You get a partner, now you have the chance to have a family. And now that you've had a family, you can retire and die. And that's pretty much the plan most of us live by. That's the plan most of us work with. That's the trajectory many of us have for our lives. Despite the dreams and aspirations and the goals and all of that, our life, the general direction of our life is no more than that. And it's no fault of our own because that's what we were taught. That is how we were trained in this idea of follow the system, don't ruffle any feathers, don't make any waves, get your pound of flesh and come out the other end as unscathed as possible. But the problem with this is on that journey of more or less redundancy, we go through a lot of no's. No, don't do that. No, don't touch that. No, you can't be that. No, that's not possible. No, that's not for you. Nobody in our family has ever done that. No one in this community has ever reached there. And the list of no's we get goes on and on and on. And somewhere along that journey, those no's become a part of our internal programming. You see, if I carry you way back to that early stage of childhood where you're just starting to get to know yourself, you're just starting to figure out your likes and your dislikes, I can probably bet that you are in a stage of curiosity. You were exploring and you were trying, and if something made you happy or something sparked some level of joy in you, you try to do more of it. But if in your curiosity you became destructive, you knocked something over, or in your stage of curiosity you were disturbing someone else's peace, you were told no, and out of a fear you probably backed off of it. This is not something I'm just talking off the top of my head. This is a whole psychological study. I think the numbers, if I remember correctly, is that a child between birth and I think it was 18 hears no approximately 200,000 times in their life versus yes, an approximate 5,000 to 7,000 times. Now, that is a disproportional level of programming of what you're not allowed to do. And for many of us, this steers us away from who we are, truthfully at heart. In my own life, in my own experience, I had this when I was in about the first or second grade, where I got that infamous question, what am I supposed to be in life? Everybody going around, what are you? What do you want to be? What do you want to be? And it got to me, I thought about it, and you heard all the answers before, doctor, businessman, fireman, policeman, and I said, I want to be a teacher. Now, as we all know, when you tell a teacher you want to be a teacher, they either get really disappointed or really excited. And my teacher got really excited. And her excitement doubled my excitement. So when I got home, I was all too ready to tell my mom, Mommy, I know what I'm going to be in life. I'm going to be a teacher. And my mom, in love, in care, in guidance, told me, that's great. That's noble. This aunt is a teacher. That uncle is a teacher. But Jeffrey, just remember, teachers don't make a lot of money. And in my 7 or 8-year-old brain at the time, I knew in myself that, well, if teachers don't make a lot of money, I don't really want to be a teacher. Now, that would have been, let's say, 7 years old. If we fast forward through my life and all the things I went through thereafter, from working in retail to doing market research to eventually taking these entrepreneurial ventures where I did network marketing, I did sales, I did event promotion, I owned a cafe, I was a part of a consultancy group, I was in food production with another company, I looked into traveling the island, and I looked into, and the list goes on and on. But from 7 to 25, I was on a search for what I was supposed to be, only to end up back at 25 deciding to be a teacher, just in a different capacity. You see, we know what we want to be, and we know who we are. We know the things that feed our soul and give us life when we're very young. However, because we're told no, or we're never exposed to all the careers those passions have to offer, we very rarely find a professional alignment between what we are to do in life and who we are at our core. You see, as a child, a teacher in my mind meant standing in a classroom, teaching kids. I never understood the concept of this motivational speaker. In fact, I never heard about motivational speaking until I was 25. But it was when I was exposed to the industry, my mind went, that's what I'm supposed to be. That's who I am. That's where I belong. And it was in that realization that I was able to actually go back 18 years and realize I was always meant to be a teacher. So I start with that question, before we start talking about our best self, it starts with a different question. Who are we? Are we currently living the life pre-programmed, set and guided by our mentors, our counselors, our parents, our loved ones? Or are we individuals truly connected to the things that bring us life, truly connected to the things that give us the freedom of expression, truly connected to the things that are aligned to our gifts and our abilities? Because if you're not connected to those things, then guess what? You're going to be limited to who you are. And the one thing you'll never be is you'll never be you. So we start there. If we're going to pursue best self, and I know you're going to have a lot of talks, marketing, branding, financials, all of these aspects of life to help you be your best self. But if you're not yourself, then there's no way to be the best self. So start there. Once we uncover this whole self, who are we and what are we supposed to do in life, And the second step is to become masters of life. And it's really simple in the grand scheme of things. People like to overcomplicate life, but depending on how you slice it up and dissect it, it always comes down to some really simple concepts. For example, one measurement of life boils down to what are the activities you do and the relationships you build. That's it. Every day, that's all you're doing. Completing activities, building relationships. And you can measure your success of a day in just those two buckets. What activities am I completing? What relationships am I building? We could slice life up another way, where we break down those activities into 4 major categories. We could break down those activities into what we call the 4 quadrants of life, which are health. What are the activities or my activities that affect my health positively or negatively? My wealth. What are the activities that move me financially up or down? My self-development. What activities allow me to grow and develop and explore myself as a person? And social contribution. What connections do I have with other people, and how do I give back, and how do they give to me? So we could slice life up in those 4 ways. And the list go on and on in these really simplistic ways on how to slice up life. Some people just call it your timetable. You look at your timetable and I can tell you what your life is. Others say it's pursuant of a few key things in life. Now, depending on what those things are you're pursuing, most times we can predict the type of activities you have, the disciplines you have, the social circles you move in. So life gets really simple if you choose to make it simple. I personally like to think of life like a game. Now, I'm a big gamer. I don't know if you know that about me or not, but video games have always kind of been my go-to. They're my recharge. They're my little holiday away from day-to-day living. And it's in gaming that I started my whole professional development journey, because I recognized a lot of the similarities between video games and life. You know, things like you only encounter enemies if you're going in the right direction. That's just like life. When you're going in the wrong direction, you never find any opposition. When you start going in the right direction, that's when you encounter opposition. Or the fact that you have to accomplish certain things along the way in life for your experience to build up so that you're prepared to move to the next level. It's just like a video game. And a list of how these similarities connect go on and on. But even in just the broader sense of what is a video game and what is life, and it's very easy to find that same connection. You see, if I ask most of you to define a game, truthfully, you probably can't. You probably have to run to the dictionary and look it up, because we can identify a game, but we've never been asked to define what is a game. And I have a definition I want to offer to you that I got from John and Hank Green. They say a game is any activity that has an agreed upon objective, an agreed upon set of players, and an agreed upon set of rules. And for me, that's a lot like life. I work with a lot of people every day looking through the question of how can I improve my life? How can I change the elements of my life? And it really comes down to just those 3 elements. The first one being, what is my objective in life? What's your objective in life? What are you actually going after? Are you going for something that is meaningful, impactful? Are you going for something that's worth dying for? Are you going for something that if you were to die in the pursuit of it, it would be worth it? Or are you just playing it safe, trying to get that bread, trying to do those things that other people have told you are important to do? So what's your objective? The second question is, what are the rules that you're playing by? And when I say rules, I don't mean the code of conduct of the school or even the laws of the land, because those are man-made and they change territory to territory, people to people, religion to religion. I'm talking about those rules that are unquestionable when it comes to life. Things like time. How do you use your time? Are you a master of the rule of time? Because we all got the same clock. We don't know when it's running out, but as long as we got a day, we got the same amount of time. Things like money. Money is the global standard for value. It's going to change depending on currency, country. It's going to change in terms of the value perception of people, depending on the resources, abundance. I'm sure any of our economic students here can tell us all about supply and demand. But money is a global language. How well do you master the rule of money? And the list goes on. So, do you even know the rules of life? And if so, are you actually mastering them? Which brings us to the final one, agreed upon players. Now, if I was running a race against, let's say, Kareem, and Kareem and I are racing, but somewhere along the line, I'm looking for another name here, Imani just jumps in the race and Imani beats both of us. Does Imani actually win the race? The answer is no, because the race was never with Imani. So she wasn't an agreed upon player in that race. The same goes for life. A lot of the time, we're not being deliberate about who are the people we're playing with and who are the people we're playing against. If you can figure out who the players are in your life, then you know who matters. You know who contributes, who lifts you up, and who drags you down. So for me, to unlock and step into this best self means 1, knowing who you are in life, and 2, mastering the game of life, knowing your objective, knowing your rules, and knowing the players. Now, I could go on and on in this, but I just want to share with you from my personal experience how this whole philosophy came about. For me, like many of you, I did the whole university thing. I got the degree in what I was supposed to get the degree in. I went and got the job I was supposed to get, and I was miserable. I cannot express how miserable I was. I hated going to work, but it provided me financial security. I had a good paying job. I was able to pay my bills. I was able to save. I had my life insurance and health insurance and I had all the things everybody said was important, but I was short of not wanting to live in the job I was in. It was that miserable for me sometimes. And then one day somebody came into my life and they asked me a very critical question. They said, Jeffrey, are you living the life you've chosen, or are you living the life you've been given? And I was like, oh, I choose my life. I know what I do. I am very clear about what I do. And it was in retrospect, I realized that I really didn't choose my life. I made choices within parameters, when really and truly all my options were well beyond the scope of those parameters. But because I was choosing within the parameters, I felt like I had choice. But it didn't matter what choice I made because I was going to be stuck in those parameters. And so I decided to start choosing my life. And just like I've shared with you, the first thing I had to do is I had to figure out who I was. So I went out and I did a bunch of different stuff. And I met some people who they didn't know me before. And that's probably one of the best things about universities, meeting people who have no context of who you are. And when I met these people and started working with them, one of them eventually became a mentor. And he said to me, Jeff, I've seen you do a lot of projects. I've seen you work in a lot of different roles, but no matter what role you're in, no matter what job you have, no matter what your job description is, you always do the same thing. You always motivate and encourage and teach people. Why you don't just do that? Why you don't just speak for a living? To which I responded, you can't speak for a living. Nobody don't pay for that. He said, no, people pay for speakers. I was like, dog, everybody can chat. What you talk about? He said, no. Yeah, everybody can chat, but you're motivated and teaching. Here what? Go and look up some names. Les Brown, Tony Robbins. Lo and behold, I looked it up, and I remember watching that first Les Brown video. It's like a 30 or 40-minute video of him being on stage. And I was just overwhelmed with the feeling, not so much of even admiration of Les Brown, but it was a feeling of, but I'm supposed to be doing that. I can do that. I belong there doing that. And I went, whoa, that's who I am. That's what I want. I want to encourage and I want to motivate. I want to invest in people's lives. I want to see them grow. I want to see them achieve. I want to offer of myself the knowledge, the experience, the education, the exposure I have to others so that they can go ahead and pursue and achieve their dreams and just help make this world a better place for, as cheesy as it may sound. And it was after I discovered myself, I started being very deliberate about what do I go after. So the first thing I did is I decided I was going to join Toastmasters. And in joining Toastmasters, I began getting the training I needed to get. And it's through that training and through pursuit of that self, that best self, doors began opening. I won what's called the Triple Crown Award in Toastmasters. I was eventually made the president of my club. I was made the president of another club. I was made an area director, and I was made what's called assistant division director for club growth. So I was in charge of opening up new clubs in Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and Turks and Caicos. And all of this happened in like the first 2 years of me being in the organization. As time would go on, I then became the speech champion, the Caribbean speech champion for impromptu speaking. I then went on to be awarded Distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest honor Toastmaster has to offer. Not only that, but Toastmasters introduced me to a lot of people who began opening up jobs for me, began inviting me to speak. And the list goes on of the doors that opened when I began mastering my life, being deliberate about my objectives, being deliberate about mastery of the rules, and being very selective about the players I was playing with and playing against. Same thing for karate. Same year. When I decided I was going to be a speaker, when I decided I was going to be in Toastmasters, I decided I was going to rekindle my passion for the martial arts and for karate, and I got into training. Well, as that went on, I was eventually made a junior instructor. As a junior instructor, I was given multiple classes. I've been invited to organizations all across Jamaica to give self-defense demonstrations. I've had to represent Jamaica for the Japanese embassy at a number of Japanese functions held here in Jamaica. And not only that, despite my age, which I'm kind of old to be a competitor, I was still selected to represent the Jamaica Olympic Association at Olympic qualifier for karate, when karate was introduced in the Olympics for Tokyo 2020. Now, this is not somebody who had any desire to be an Olympic athlete, but because I knew who I was, because I was being deliberate about my objectives while I was mastering the rules and being selective about my players, life began saying, let me help you out. Let me open the door. Stick to it and I'll take you where you want to go. And that's really what I want to encourage everybody here today to be about. You're in university, you're going to get a lot of influence, you're going to get a lot of different guidance and peer pressure, you're going to get a lot of people pushing you in a lot of directions. And I'm not going to say anybody's right or anybody's wrong, but what I can say, as another speaker put it, he said, only you will know if you're doing your best. And that's the truth. If you've ever done in life, you may do good enough. You may do good enough to get the A. You may do good enough to get the good time. You may do good enough to get in whatever that position is. But only you know if you did your best. And you can only do your best, as I said, if you know who you are, if you're aware of what the objective is, the rules are, and the players you're playing with and playing against. There's more I could say on this, but truthfully, I want you to understand this concept more than anything else, because it's going to be your biggest differentiator in life. I can pull on several examples where this has vastly separated individuals. For example, we have Muhammad Ali versus Money Mayweather. Now, Floyd Money Mayweather, is undisputed the best boxer of all time. He has the best record. He is sort of like 40 or 41 undefeated, never been beaten in 41 fights. He's made more money out of boxing than most boxers ever will. And he's been able to retire from boxing without any seeming long-term damage. That is phenomenal as a boxer. Muhammad Ali was the greatest champion. Their objectives were different, and thus the rules they played by were different, and the players they played with were different. Muhammad Ali, long gone, has been recognized as one of the most influential men of his time, representing the Islamic movement, representing civil rights, representing the Boxing Federation, even just representing what it means to be a human of integrity. You know, he's on record for saying, I refuse to fight in your war, to go away to some foreign land to kill poor people when you're killing your own poor people right here at home. I'm not going to go and fight them because they're not my enemies. That's a champion, not just a boxer. And so let the record stand. Mayweather, best boxer. Muhammad Ali, best boxing champion. And you're going to have to make these distinctions in your own life. When you go and work in an organization, are you going to be the best worker or are you going to be the best leader? When you're in your family, are you going to be the best family member or are you going to be the best caretaker? Are you going to be the best friend or are you going to be the best counsel? These seemingly small differences are going to radically transform your life. I'm here as a testament to it. I don't have enough time to go into my whole story, but I'm here to tell you those small changes create a radical difference in the quality of life you live. Take it from me here, take it from me now. Your best self lies first you knowing yourself and then getting very clear about how you plan to play this game of life. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure, and I hand back over to our moderator for this evening's event. If they've solved the technical difficulty. I guess while I wait for the moderator to chip in, are there any questions in the meantime? Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's Shadea. Appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Thank you. I don't see any questions coming in. I appreciate the comments and compliments. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So I guess with that, Mr. Moderator, ready to take over?
Thank you so much, Mr. Azan. That was a very relatable presentation. I can tell you, there were some, key points in there that, I can relate to. And I'm sure that everyone that was listening or watching can also say the same. So thank you very much and greatly appreciated.
Happy to be of service.
All right, no problem. And from one great presenter to the next, next we have Miss Debbie Bassoon with a memorable voice that resonates with audiences. Debbie Bassoon is no stranger to Jamaican radio and television. This broadcaster has more than a decade of experience in media and communication, which began during her time spent at Clarendon College. Miss Bassoon, who has a long passion for entertainment, started out as a singer herself, then found a passion for entertainment, where she discovered a knack for broadcasting. After participating in over 10 different auditions, Bassoon made little to no progress in her search for a job in media, but was not deterred. She soon found success as a presenter on Entertainment Prime on Television Jamaica, TVJ, putting in the work to hone that skills that would endear her to the audiences and make a name for herself. She subsequently moved on to the Bob Marley Group of companies as their brand manager, who gave her the opportunity to learn and truly appreciate the rigors of the industry. After 3 years, the journey ended when she became pregnant with her son. Bassoon was once again empowered to pursue her passion when she returned to the RJR Group as a broadcaster. In loving what she does and encouraging women to take time off and take care of themselves, Bassoon has created a meaningful and purpose-led life. It's amongst the reasons she recently was chosen by the Bailey's brand for the Valentine's Day edition of the Bailey's Ultimate Indulgence Gifting Spree. Bassoon was gifted with a spa day out of Adam and Eve, along with Bailey's treats in celebration of self-love, the greatest love of all. One of my all-time favorites, Debbie Bassoon, we welcome you. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, can you hear me? I just wanted to make sure that the connection is okay.
Yes, we can hear
Well, I'm
you.
gonna
Good
go
evening.
ahead.
We can hear you.
Perfect. Okay, hi everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kareem. Please forgive me. I'm actually inside my car. I just left an event with Sagicor. I was hosting their blast off for this year, but I did not want to miss this event at all. So thank you so much for having me. I will make this quick, but I want to give it up to Mr. Azan, who is really a hard act to follow because of how many gems he dropped a while ago. Trust me. Thank you so much for that, because I too learned a lot from his session. So I'm talking about personal branding today. And for many persons, personal branding has been, a part of the conversation of development for about, let's say, 5 years now. We're told oftentimes we need to work on our personal brand, and everybody has these to-dos and do-nots as to how we are to approach personal branding as well. So with the introduction that Kareem gave a while ago, my personal brand started to take shape from as early as Clarendon College without me even knowing that I was actually forming my personal brand. And that's the thing with personal brand. It's about the kind of perception that you actually give other people. It's about being 100% you. And persons have, and especially with social media, created and recreated their personal brand several times over. And there's actually nothing wrong with that. What's important is that you are comfortable with who you are choosing to put forward, because the representation of who you are is something that you will have to stand by. And when it comes time to, testing that personal branding, you have to show up for it. And you can't show up as a facade or something that look like a clone. You have to make sure that what you're putting out is actually true. I wanted this to be, interactive, and I was hoping I could see everybody's faces. But I want you guys to consider this. If you have a pen in front of you, just scribble this down, please, or you can go in the notepad on your phone. But write down all the things that you like about you. The things that you like about you. For instance, growing up, my grandmother said to me, Debbie, you should become a lawyer because you love talk. And at first, I wasn't thinking about, me being a talker. I was really accepting myself for who I am. So, okay, fine. I love to chime into conversations, and I used to have some really good back answers. I used to get the backhand for the back answers. But I found out quickly that I actually enjoy talking. And I was really considering, becoming a lawyer as well. But then I thought to myself, well, I'm going to have to spend a lot of time researching and doing a whole heap of things. But I also love singing and I love entertainment. So that about myself. I love singing, I love performing, I love music, I love theater arts. I was a part of the choir for like 7 years at Clarendon College. I went to UWI and I'm part of JYC. I did things on Preston Hall. I was like a host of Shark Radio on Preston Hall. I began hosting several events on UWI's campus as well. And all of that actually shaped me, as a host, as a media personality, without me even realizing really and truly that perception is what I was forming. So I want you guys to think about this. What do you like about yourself, and what do you like to do? What do you like to do every single day? You have to think about those things when you are defining who you are. What are you good at? And what do you feel comfortable to do every single day? Those are the things that will shape your personal brand, right? What can you offer people? Because personal branding is not just about becoming something. And again, I'm going to give it back to social media. Social media has a lot of people creating images of themselves. But again, it's very, very important that you have something to offer people, because the true test of personal branding is in action. And you have to be able to offer something. It's in service. And you must be able to give people something. You must be able to have something that they can put beside your name to say, yeah, man, for sure. You know, this person said I'm a dancer. Okay, where have they danced before? This person is, you know, a speaker. Where have they spoken before? This person is a writer. What have they written before? And so you must have something that you can offer people to show for sure that you are who you say you are. It's very, very important. Super important. And I go now to who you're speaking to. So who is the audience? Who are you talking to? I do entertainment, and I've hosted a variety of different entertainment shows. And I've also, you know, kind of mastered my craft in such a way where I've hosted things like the Prime Minister's Youth Awards for about 2 years. I've done very serious events, not entertainment centered events, but events that are really, really serious. I've done stuff for the Embassy of South Korea as well that asked of me to present in a particular manner. And so I had to understand different types and different ways of presenting my craft to people and presenting my brand to people. So I couldn't go to the Embassy of South Korea with the vibe and energy that I give on Fame Frequency. But in the same way in which I could not go on Fame Frequency and give them the vibe and the energy of how I would host at the Prime Minister's Youth Award. So I had to understand who my audience was at all times and actually adjust accordingly. And, you know, it's okay to find a community, and it's okay to find a niche, and it's okay to find a particular way of representing your brand. But if you want your brand to grow and explode and get big and, you know, cross the waters and appeal to different people from all walks of life, you're going to need to expand yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Don't let nobody at all box it in or tell you that you have to be this particular way for you to be understood, for you to be accepted, and for you to be taken seriously. And guess what? If you find a particular thing and it's not really working out how you expected it to work out, it is actually very much okay to go back to the drawing board and redefine yourself. It's okay to go back and maybe fix, you know, do something that will get you in a space where you feel comfortable with who you are again. And try to do something that is going to, you know, make you feel comfortable stepping out once more. It's okay. It's okay to step out and take a risk on yourself. And even if those risks don't give you the kind of results that you are looking for, that's okay as well. When you're stepping out with your personal brand, you have to make sure that you are okay failing. And it's okay to fail as many times as possible, because failure means that you did jump. I was talking to Simone Clark Cooper the other day on my podcast, Moms Can Relate. And she said to me, Debbie, it's okay to fail, because if you don't jump, you will not know. And sometimes you have to push out and take a risk on you. Tommy Chin says, bet on you over and over and over again. You have to make sure, say you is a person who you're going to put the kind of energy and the effort behind, because there is nobody else like you in the world. Even if you and somebody else have the same name, there is nobody else with your DNA can do the things that you can do. There's only one of your kind in the world. Google it, try it. I've done it. There may be some Bissoons in Trinidad, but you know, there's nobody like the Baby Soon in the world. And it's not cocky to say that. You know what I mean? It's not a thing of arrogance to say that. It's understanding that you are wonderfully, uniquely, and perfectly made in the light and image of God. And you have to step out with that kind of confidence as well. And understand that you pass this way one time. So if you're really fearful, if you're fearful about stepping out into who you are, understand that you're only given this one shot. You don't get a do-over with life. You can try different things at different points in your life, but you really don't get a do-over with life, right? And time, and I'm hoping that a lot of us learned in 2020 that you have to make full use of your time. For a lot of people, and especially for those of, you know, the graduates of UWI who had degrees and it's your first year working and you were told, oh, you have to stay home because you're not a part of the essential services. It was a real shocker for a lot of people. And these are some people who may have graduated with degrees, and that's okay. But they may have also been sitting on other talents and other dreams and other goals and other things that they wanted to accomplish, but were fearful of stepping out and doing that thing as well. In my opinion, you can do it all. And you should just start one time. All you need is that start. As Kareem said in my introduction, I went to over 10 auditions. And this is somebody who did not do media. I did language communication and a minor in entertainment at ESEM. And I went to, like when I was telling my father, listen, the 7th time I was coming into town to do this audition, and he said to me, Debbie, why are you coming back into town to do this audition? He says, you're wasting money and you're wasting time. And it felt bad because my father has always been my biggest supporter. In that moment, he could not see my dream, but I knew what I wanted to do. And so I persisted, and he brought me, and yes, I failed the 8th time. And then I come back again and I failed the 9th time. And I came back the 10th time. I did not hear from any other producers from RGR for about 3 months, and I started to give up. And I said, you know what? I'm going to volunteer my services over by New Start 93 FM. That's a station on campus. And I said, I'm going to volunteer my time so I can start getting some experience. And in that 3rd month of not hearing anything at all and letting it go, one night, I got a call at 10 p.m. in the night from the senior producer saying, Debbie, can you come in tomorrow because we need you? I didn't understand what I'm going there for either. I just did an audition, not for anything specific. And then when I get in, he's telling me at that time, oh, you're doing E-Prime on TVJ. And this is while I was at UA. So that was a big deal, life-shifting deal for me. And it really and truly changed the trajectory of my life. But if I did not persist, I could not have gotten there. And so you really need some persistence. So even if it don't happen for you the first 3 times, do not stop on your goals. Bet on you and go after what it is that you want, because you only get to pass this way one time. There is no do-over at all. And as part of the process as well, you're going to lose some people in the personal branding process. And if you're really stepping out and taking a risk on yourself and you're defining yourself, you're going to lose some people, and that is okay. If you don't lose people, that means really and truly, are you doing it correctly? And if you don't disappoint some people, are you really and truly doing it correctly? Because everybody has, expectations of who you should be. But at the end of the day, you are in your skin. You are in your brain. You are going through your process and your life, not your family, not your brother, not your sister, not your mother. Nobody at all. In fact, my mother was very upset at me when I decided to go back to you in that last year because she wanted me to stay home. Even more so when I started doing entertainment in media. Not a lot of people understood it. My father is a pastor. And people would say, oh, but your father a pastor, they're on TV dance. My father is a pastor. I am in media, and he's still one of my biggest supporters yet. He watches Fame Frequency every single night. And I had to be okay with that. I had to be okay with disappointing people and losing people because I don't want a baggage behind me. I don't want a body at all who is really and truly not really rooting for me because it's distracting for me to try to explain myself to you and my brand and who I am over and over again. So if you don't get it the first time, if you don't get it, from what I'm stepping out to do, then that's okay. That's all right. If I lose you along the way, then fine. I wish you all the best, and may you find your own, vibe and your own energy and all of those things. Find you. I'm finding me, and this is my process, and I'm okay with that. It's okay to lose people along the way. Understand that if you don't take this step on you, darling, you do not know what will happen. You don't know. You never know. Because sometimes life is just there waiting on you to make that step. And sometimes as well, we talk about, what we don't have. But if you look around you, you have everything that you need. I had a conversation the other day, and I said to the person who, a senior marketer at a corporate company, I said, listen, you quickly realize that Google is not the problem. You quickly realize that the internet is not the problem. Because the internet has so many things. Google has so many things that it's there. The information is there for us to grasp. YouTube has everything that we need there to grasp. And if there's something that you want to do and you don't know how to do it, you can always go online and find the information there. You can always ask people. Do not let your pride get ahead of you. If you want to know how to do something, go and ask somebody, and ask sincerely. Don't ask thinking that you know everything already. So you're gonna say yes, yes, yes. Listen and learn, and be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process. Be patient with your journey. And when you have your brand, take care of it. Take care of it. So, you're going to go through some things. You're going to go through some highs. You're going to go through some lows. Some points where you feel like giving up. Some points where you feel like you're just going to throw in the towel. But At the end of the day, you have to remember that this is your time to be the best that you can be. This is your time to be the absolute best that you can be. To take hold of it, grasp it, love it up, and do it. Do it. Have fun with it. This is your process. This is your time. Take charge and be the best that you can be. And that's all I have to say. Thank you. Kareem, over to you.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you very much. Once again, as Rachel, that I'm always telling you that you always talking from Central. And Central means that you don't talk here about it, but happening. Debbie?
Yes, I'm hearing you now. What were you saying?
Okay. You hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Right. I was saying thank you very much. As per usual, I'm always on your podcast. You said something that resonated with me. More trust and believe. I am very much appreciative of it, and I'm sure that everyone that's listening and watching can attest to that fact as well. Thank you. There's some life gems and there's also some branding gems as well.
Absolutely. And thanks for listening, Kareem. I appreciate it. Guys, you can listen to my podcast. It's a really good podcast. Trust me, I have some really good conversations over there. And I have one dropping on Sunday. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Are you guys hearing me now? I'm not quite sure what's happening with the audio. It seems as if that some persons are not hearing and some people are hearing. If you can just message in the Zoom chat, just let me know if it is that you're hearing me clearly so I can continue, please. I can't hear you. Okay, hearing Kareem. Thank you. All right, okay, hearing. All right, good. I'm not quite sure what's happening with the audio and stuff like that, but we're working with technology and this is 2021. But we are going to have some giveaways for our persons who are listening. So we're going to have some giveaways, particularly for Zoom and some also for YouTube. All right. So the first giveaway is actually for our Zoom participants, and it is what is the name, or what is the theme, my apologies, of the Best Self Conference, and your prize will be a shirt from Nippity. So once you know the answer, you just type it in the Zoom and they'll select a lucky winner. So once again, the question is, what is the theme of the Best Self Conference? Easy something with this, and you win a shirt from Nippity. So once the first correct answer, I'm seeing somebody's, Marisha Williams. So they'll select a winner. And we're going to actually take a 2 minute break, right? Yes. But we have a message from one of our sponsors, and it is from AU79. Choose AU79 Studios for the golden standard in photography and design. We do event coverage, weddings, birthdays, baby showers, and portrait photography. We also do videography and editing to suit all your needs. Once again, that's AU79. You might win something from them to make sure that you are paying attention. Yes.
when your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet. Will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheeks? Darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23. And I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just the touch of a hand.
All right, so we got a winner for the first prize. We also have a next giveaway again, so you have to listen keenly. And it's more than one prize this time. So I'll be reading the question. Name 3 speakers from the Best Self Conference, and we're going to select a winner from Zoom and 2 winners from YouTube. And you'll be winning a professional headshot from AU79. Once again, that is name 3 speakers from the Best Self Conference. We're selecting 1 winner from here on Zoom and also 2 from YouTube. And the prize is a professional headshot from AU79. Good luck. Wish me could have win so too, though. These things are very easy. But good luck to you guys though. So I'm seeing that persons were actually participating in the prizes, and I'm sure that the moderator for the chat will actually select a winner. I'm seeing a lot of persons typing the correct answers. So good luck to you guys. So we're going to switch gears for a little bit, but we're going to just go on a 2-minute break. You can get some refreshments, and we are going to continue this wonderful, wonderful presentation provided to you guys. So it's 2 minutes break, get some refreshments, and we'll be right back in a second.
will trust in you and know that you are with me forever. I'll confide in you, 'cause you're the only answer that matters. Even in the darkness, you will be my light. Even when I'm hopeless, you will be my guide. I will not be shaken, I will not be moved. Even in the chaos, I know that you're good. You're the keeper, protector. It is you that holds us together when everything else fails us. It is you that holds us together. I will trust in you, your thoughts and plans of me, they are good. I wait on you, I know that you will see me through. Even in the darkness, you will be my light. Even when I'm hopeless, you will be my guide. I will not be shaken, I will not be moved. Even in the chaos, I know that you're good. You're the keeper, protector.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back, guys. I hope I can all you
Holds us together when everything else fails us. It is
Yes. All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to this wonderful presentation that has been happening so far. We're going to continue, so I hope that you're now refreshed. We have some students from this same campus at the University of the West Indies who are representative of the Jamaica National, well, the JNWay project. So we're going to have them on, and they're going to give us another presentation as well. So as we welcome them, they'll also introduce themselves. And once again, just drop some more gems on you, because that has been happening. And I hope you guys are taking notes, mental notes as well, from every single presentation that has been happening so far. So I do welcome the representative from the JNWay.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Can you see me and can you hear me? Just checking the chat to see if everyone can hear me. All right, perfect. Okay. So good evening, everyone. My name is Malika Ricketts, and I'm one of the JNWay ambassadors for Region 5. That is the University of the West Indies Mona campus. So tonight I'll be speaking to you about the different products and services that Jane Bank offers, right? So what we do here, well, tonight, the theme is embracing your best self, right? So this means, one of the meanings of this is to create a path towards financial independence and stability, right? So most, if not all of us, we're attending university. And we want to ensure that after university, we're not struggling to find where every dollar is coming from. We want to create a foundation for ourselves. And through that, we need to learn to save. Cannot stress this more. We need to learn to save. And it's never too late. It's never too early to learn to save. So now I'm going to be just giving you an overview of the different products and services that we have that can help you save more in the future and even now. Right, so one of the most talked about or most utilized service is our regular savings account. The minimum amount to open such account is $2,500, right? Also for most of our students here at university, I know they utilize what is called the partner plan, which is another one of our services. Partner plans are mostly for short-term goals, right? So if you're in need of something, for example, I may be in need of a phone. My phone is not working, or I need a laptop to do my schoolwork. I can start a partner plan for as low as $1,000 weekly, and it can range from 3 months to a year. So before you know it, in a year, you're able to save for that laptop or that phone or whatever need that it is that you have to fulfill, right? So that a partner plan is also another option in terms of saving. For persons who want to save bigger, we have high yield accounts. High yield accounts, these are accounts where you only can make deposits, you cannot withdraw, you cannot transfer. This is an account that you basically don't have access to, just to deposit money into it. And at the end of a period, you can withdraw that money, and of course you get interest off of that. So over time, you're learning more and more how important it is to save and how beneficial it can be in the future. As I said, you start a foundation for yourselves. We as young people, we have the habit of spending more than what we actually can afford. And then when we look, something that we actually need, we don't have the money, right? So important to save. Also, one of our new services that we have is our simplified accounts. These are for persons who are working. I know that some of us are working now, given the pandemic. So with this type of account, you only need your TRN and your ID. All the requirements in terms of address verification, employment verification, you don't need that. All you need is your TRN and your ID. Of course, we have some amount of restrictions on these accounts, right? So, but it's still an option for persons who want to start saving, right? And try to lessen the requirements in terms of accounts opening. So all these are options that you can actually explore and find more about through us ambassadors. I have 2 ambassadors here in the chat right now. So I'll open the chat for them to drop their contact information. So if you need more information about different savings options and services that we have, you can contact them. Also, I know that some of us we're small business owners. Everybody is delving into entrepreneurship, which is a very good initiative. So Jane Bank, one of our subsidiaries, we have Jane Small Business Loans. We offer loans to persons who are interested once you meet the requirements, and it can be a good initiative to boost your business or expand the business, right? So I will now hand over to Christina Blake. That's another fellow ambassador, and she will be sharing more information about the different products and services that we offer. Thank you guys for your time.
All right, good. Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Are you hearing me? Just let me know in the chat if you're hearing me before I go ahead. Okay, awesome. So as my colleague mentioned, I'm Christina Blake, a fellow JNWay ambassador, and I'll be speaking to you more briefly on savings, why it's important, how you can save, where you can save, and what are the requirements for starting a savings account with the JN Bank. But before I get into it, let me just tell you this Swedish proverb that really spoke to me a while ago, and it says, "He who buys what he does not need steals from himself." And so we are on this journey of financial literacy and embracing our best self. And there are many different components to this. And so you have to curb your spending habits. You have to save more. And that is why, as JNWay ambassadors, we encourage you to invest in savings options. We encourage you to start deposit accounts. We encourage you to set aside money for emergencies and so on. So I'm just going to get into I like the passion here. Awesome. Thank you for the energy, guys. So I'm just going to get into why exactly do we save? What are the principal reasons what motivates us to save? So if you see me glancing at my screen, pardon me, I'm just getting some information from a PowerPoint presentation. So the first main reason why we save is to have peace of mind. So, recently, sometime last year actually, I spoke at a mental health symposium, and it dawned on me, why would they ask someone from JN? Why would you want a bank representative to come and speak at a mental health symposium? And it occurred to me that, you know what? When you don't have money, you feel stressed out. And I know I'm not the only person that has experienced this. And so financial literacy, financial empowerment, setting money aside, it has a lot to do with your mental health. And so that is one of the main reasons why you need to save. It's to have peace of mind. Nothing feels better than knowing that you have money set aside for emergencies. And that leads to the second main reason why we encourage you to save. And that is to be financially independent and secure. Nothing feels better than when you want to buy the latest iPhone, or you want to treat yourself to KFC on a Friday evening, and you don't have to go to mommy and daddy, or you don't have to be a burden to people to say, lend me $1,000 or give me this, give me that, because you have your own money. So that's one of the main benefits of savings. It gives you that financial independence and security. You feel good about yourself that you have money set aside. And next, we have to have cash reserve. Now, this is no different than being financially independent and secure. There are certain things that you want to splurge on. You not necessarily have to save towards your education or towards buying a car or for these big extravagant things. It's really just the basic things in life that you need. Doing your hair, doing your nails, treating yourself to KFC and Popeyes, things like those, we save towards them, and it's not talked about enough. So we make it seem, or we give this impression that, oh, you have to be saving towards your education, towards a car, towards a home. No, there are other things that we save towards, and it gives us that peace of mind. Because as I said before, when you're broke, you feel really, really stressed out. And finally, to earn interest. There is this massive interest earning potential when you save your money. And at JN Bank, we have extremely competitive interest rates. Now, essentially what you're doing when you save your money in a savings account is earn money while you sleep. So separate and apart from probably saving money under your mattress or in a drawer, when you save your money in a savings account, you earn interest. So those are the main reasons why we save, because I don't want to just go ahead and tell you, oh, you need to start saving without really breaking it down to you as to why you need to save. So the next thing we're going to touch on is, how do you save? So I mentioned some traditional means of saving earlier on, right? So traditionally, people save money under their mattresses, in a drawer. Some people save in them handbag, in them purse. Now, the reason why we encourage you to save with a financial institution such as JN Bank is that it gives you that security, that safety that you don't necessarily get when you save at home. Now, while you can save in, for example, a fireproof safe, which many persons do. A lot of rich people have 3 savings accounts, one with JMMB, one with JN, one with Scotia, and they have a safe at their home. While you can do this, remember, as I said earlier, the interest earning potential isn't present there. So we highly encourage that you open a savings account. And to correct myself, not open a savings account, open more than one savings account. Nothing is wrong if you have 3, 4 savings accounts. There's literally there's no hindrance to you opening as many savings accounts as you possibly can, as long as you can maintain them. And the good thing with the JN is that our opening requirements are really low. So as a UE student, you can start a savings account with only $500. Which means that you can use another $1,000 and start a partner plan account. Now, as Malika mentioned before, partner is another traditional means of saving, right? So many persons, they will probably throw $1,000 a day, and they're doing this informally. So they're giving their money to probably a relative, or sometimes people do partners with people that they barely even know. And there are many horror stories with partners. In other Caribbean countries, such as Trinidad, it's called a susu. So this is actually a very popular and traditional means of saving, but it is not safe. It is not as secure as if you were to do it with a financial institution that puts your best interests at heart, such as JN Bank. So JN is actually the only financial institution I know of personally that has a partner plan. So financial institutions like JN, they have strategically crafted these savings instruments for you so that you can save towards short-term as well as long-term goals. With the partner plan account, the requirements are the same as with opening a regular savings account. And I'm going to get into those requirements later on. So you can save for fixed periods. You can save for 16, 24 weeks, and so on. And you can save $1,000 a week. No one really cares how much money you decide to save. As Malika said, let's say, for example, you want to buy the latest iPhone. You can open a partner plan to save towards that. So those are the ways in which you can save. You can choose to open as many savings accounts as you possibly want to, or you can sign up for a partner plan. Now, let me get into the requirements, which I think everybody is interested in or should be interested in starting a regular savings account at JN. So first, you will need your TRN and your ID. If you have a driver's license, then you can just present that because your tax registration number would have already been reflected on your driver's license. So essentially, you will need your TRN and your ID. So what type of identification do you need to provide? This can be your passport, this can be your driver's license as mentioned earlier, and this can also be your voter's ID. So that's the first thing you need to put aside, TRN ID. Once you have those, you're one step closer to starting your savings account with JN. Next, you will need proof of address. Proof of address can be in the form of a utility bill. So a water bill, a light bill, a cable bill, but other documents bearing your address, your home address, can also be used as proof of address. So for example, you buy things online and you have the documents with your address, you can present that to your local representative, and that is sufficient for proof of address, even your voter's ID. Now, for those persons who don't have any documents reflecting their address, you can use the address verification form. The address verification form is provided for you in branch. So you would just visit your nearest branch and tell them you're interested in opening a JN savings account and you are requesting an address verification form. Now, this leads me to talk about how strenuous the media makes out the requirements for starting a bank account. So a lot of persons say, oh, you need Jesus' signature and iWater and all of these things to open a bank account. So really and truly, when you request the address verification form, you will need to have it signed and stamped by a Justice of the Peace. This is for that Justice of the Peace to just say, you know what, I know Miss Christina Blake and she has been living at 10 Mona Road for 5 years and I can verify that. So if you call me, I can verify that is where she lives. The reason why the bank needs all of this information is because of what we call a KYC policy. It's know your customer. Financial institutions across the world, we are trying to eliminate money laundering, scamming, and all of these eventualities from occurring. And we're trying to avoid the connection between these illegal undertakings and banks. So that is why you need your proof of address, just in case you're wondering. The other requirement is proof of income. This is where it gets tricky for a lot of university students. In the past, you could just, as UWI students, most of us here, in the past, you could just visit the UWI-JN branch, present your ID, your TRN, your school ID, and a few other documents, and you get through quickly with your savings account. Now the requirements, they've amped them up a bit, and so you will need proof of income. I'm sure we've all seen the Gleaner article where a UWI student himself was involved in scamming. Things like these are real. So the banks, as I said before, we're trying to eliminate this. So for the proof of income, what you really need is your parents' job letter or your parents' last 2 pay slips. No, by parent, I don't mean both mommy and daddy. You can just use one parent's information. You use their job letter or you use their last 2 pay slips to verify. So essentially what you are saying, what this document is saying is that this is my daughter and she wants to open a savings account. I will be giving her the money to maintain the account. The reason why we need a proof of income, just like when you're applying for a loan at the bank, is to just prove that you can maintain the savings account. Because the bank is of the impression that if you don't have any money, you have no source of income, what are you doing with a savings account? And I know it doesn't really make much sense because a lot of you might have your small gigs where you earn money on the side, even as a college student, and it's just that you don't have the formalities. You don't have the job letter and you don't have the pay slips to prove it. Unfortunately, the bank needs this proof. So all you do, you go to mommy, you go to daddy and say, I need a job letter, I need your last 2 pay slips. Now, it gets trickier if your parents are unemployed. But once again, JN caters to all classes of persons. So if your parents are unemployed and let's say mommy and daddy operate an auto parts store, they're self-employed. What you need to do is to visit your nearest branch, or you can reach out to me on Instagram, ChristinaPB_, or you can send me an email address. Just reach out to me and I will send you what is called a self-employment verification form. This form needs to be verified by Justice of the Peace again. So it's very good on your journey to financial literacy and empowerment to have a little JP in your corner. I know it seems as if every transaction that you need to do in Jamaica requires a JP, but just try working on it from now because we need the savings account and we need to benefit from it. So self-employment verification form, that is if mommy or daddy or your aunt or your uncle, because remember, the proof of income doesn't necessarily have to come from your parents, even though I said parents, that's just the basic standard. The proof of income can come from your older sibling who is employed. It can come from your cousin, anybody at all that can verify or can, put up their savings for you. They just need to know that I know you and I am willing to vouch for you if anything goes wrong. So your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, anybody can provide you with the job letter or the last 2 pay slips or the self-employment verification form, which I can email to you, send to you on WhatsApp, send to you on Instagram. So once you have these and you carry these documents in branch, you will now need the names and contact numbers for 2 references. You don't need a letter from them, you just need their names and their numbers. Mind you, with other financial institutions, you may need a letter stamped and sealed and all the whole works. But all you need is their name and their number. So this person can be any notary public, a JP, a minister of religion, anybody like that can be the character. They can provide a reference for you to open the account. So as long as you have all these information and you present them to your branch representative, you're on your way and you will be granted the access to a JN regular savings account. And if you are a UE student, present your UE ID along with $500 and that's it. If you're not a UE student, I think for postgrad students, you will need $2,500. But if you're a regular UE student, 1st to 3rd year undergrad, you can just present your ID and $500 and you open the account. Simple, simple, simple. So those are the requirements for starting a JN Bank savings account. And let me just briefly, before I go, let me briefly tell you some of the benefits. The first one, scholarship and internship opportunities. Starting a savings account with JN really just opens up the doors for a lot of opportunities for you personally. Even joining the JNWay program is another benefit of having a savings account with the bank. Another benefit or aside is the coin machines. Now, these aren't necessarily available at other banks, but as I said, JN really just tries to cater to poor people, rich people, middle class, any type of people. So we have coin machines where, you probably have those coins that you've been saving up for a very long time and you just want to transfer them to cash. You can visit a coin machine and just put in the coins and it goes straight to your account. It's deposited directly to your account. So that can give you some extra money in your account. And the competitive interest rates that I keep talking about, and that's a benefit to be had as opposed to saving in your drawer, under your mattress. And the opening requirement is just $500. That is not available at any other financial institution, I can guarantee you. Just $500 with your UAID. So I hope that by now everybody is interested in starting their JN Bank savings account. Even if you have a savings account at another bank, you can open another one at JN. And my contact information is in the chat. I am Christina Blake. You can reach me via telephone, via Instagram, any social media, and you can ask me further questions. I can assist you further. Just don't hesitate to contact me. There are also other JNWay ambassadors who are in the chat. You can reach out to them as well. So thank you so much to the coordinators of this conference, and over to you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. The JNWay ambassadors. Listen, they're talking about financial stability, and that is utmost. That is the goal in life. No matter what you're studying, no matter what field you're in, no matter what you think that and making an income and everything is okay. Listen, you have to save for a rainy day. Trust and believe me. But I just want to ensure that you guys are still here and still much paying attention before I do another giveaway. So I just want you to just say in the chat, present or here or something, so I can know that you guys are still alive, basically, before I can do this giveaway from this wonderful person. I wish that I could have received this prize as well. So once you guys are here, you can just say here in the chat or present, or I just want to know that you're alive and kicking and well and you're paying attention. Okay, here, good. All right. So we have a giveaway from Aromatic Essentials, and it's pretty easy. It is, what is one product mentioned by the JN ambassadors? So I'm assuming that they will win a perfume or a cologne or a perfume. Valentine's Day is coming. So, well, somebody says partner plan. Who's that? Tony and Williams. I think that you should be the first person, right? So congratulations. So you should win a perfume set. I wish, who's organizers for these? Like, my need for win something here. Like, them prize there, really and truly. All right, so we're going to have a panel discussion, correct? And I'm going to just let you guys just take just a minute break. Get yourself refreshed once again. We're going to have an insightful panel discussion that you don't want to miss. So you can just go and get yourself some refreshments, and then just 1 minute, we'll be back. Welcome back, guys. I see that you guys are still here and still present. I'm still paying attention. All right, so we are going to also Siobhan Williams, the UWI Guild President 2018 to 2019, and currently a resident advisor at the Elsa Leo Renee Hall, as well as the manager of investments and promotions at the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority. And also, well, the only lady on this panel, Christina Williams, UWI Guild President 2019 to 2020, which she achieved major feats such as the revised healthcare policy and a 99.9% reduction in deregistration. Welcome, all for you. I mean, your bio alone speaks for itself, and we're happy to have you here.
Well, happy to be here.
Well, welcome.
For an introduction, Kareem. Happy to be here.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, so we're going to have a series of questions that I'll be throwing out to either of the panelists, and either or either one of you guys can actually answer, or if all three wants to answer, then that's no problem by us. But just for the, we're kind of running over schedule right now, but we're going to just go into the questions quickly. So the first question is, what is the first step you take when approaching a project?
Should I go as the only lady?
Yes, Christina, as the only lady on the panel, I think that you should go.
Okay. So first step I take is research and consultation. I think when you're part of a team, it's very important for you to speak to your team first about the goal at hand. It's never about me and what I want. It's about what the team wants. Also what the student wants that you're presenting, whether it's at a club level or a guild level or whatever level. So I think it's important for you to consult both their team as well as the people that you serve. As the first thing.
Well, I like that answer. Any one of the gentlemen who want to take I want to also answer this question.
The next.
Oh, Siobhan, you're going?
So when it is that you have an activity to do, right? I believe that the first thing that you need to find out is the reason why you're doing the activity. What are the desired goals? So if you can find out what are the desired goals, it's easier for you to be able to find an avenue to get the activity done. So say I have an activity, I need to get 500 scholarships for some students. I need to get 100 jobs. I need to find out the best way to get this activity done. And this may be through partnerships, through collaborations, or through utilizing some unused funds. But the idea is that once you can break apart a large idea into smaller pieces, then it's easier to get the task.
Yes, definitely. And the final gentleman on the panel here, sir, you want to take a minute and just see what else is left out to answer, because both of them have such great answers.
As in, I share the same opinion as the other two members. It's important that you find out the why. The why is important, because it informs every single thing. Why is the activity necessary? It informs the objectives that you do, create the targets, the people who you're going to find out about the initiatives, because you need to be as informed as possible about what you're going to do in order to tackle it the best way possible. And it's all in the concept of strategic planning, because it's what I do at Jamaica Special Economic Zone, part of that team. So it's very important that you do your research, so it informs the process that you're about to undertake. So yeah, the research process is very important.
Wow, great answers. I hope everybody else is taking notes of them, because these are some free gems that you're getting here. How do you deal with naysayers? And I will ask Siobhan to answer that question first. How do you deal with naysayers?
All right, so one thing that I've learned is that there will always be naysayers. Sometimes there'll be people on the outside, there'll be some internationals, there'll be some people just watching what you're doing. Sometimes the naysayers might come from inside your own committee. But at the end of the day, it's important to understand the reason why you're doing this. Am I doing this to please those people who come from UTEC? I'm the UWI Moore and Gill president. Am I doing this to please the people from Trinidad? I'm here in Jamaica. Remember the reason why you're doing this. Because if you allow too much doubt to come into your mind, nothing will get done. If it is that your committee is the group that is against your decision, then you have to stop and take some serious thought. Because you can't continue any activity without them. You have to just work towards it as a group and as a team. So it becomes important at that time that you sit down and you reason it out with them so that you can find the best pathway to go forward. But naysayers will be there. And that's important because if they say something is wrong with what you're doing, it gives you now the opportunity to think about it and analyze it to ensure that what you're doing really makes sense.
Agreed. And Christina, how do you deal with naysayers? Is Christina still here?
The mic, you have to unmute her.
Sorry. And you say I'm there going up, you know.
I had it muted.
Right. So I am saying that I actually don't deal with naysayers because the very moment you begin to give them recognition is the very moment you introduce them into your psyche that may break you. So for me, I don't deal with naysayers. I understand that opposition is a must, whether it comes from your team or it comes from external. I think once you have consulted and you know through a very fair and honest process, both with yourself and with others, that you're doing the right thing, then you don't need to take on this, we need to prove people wrong. Why are you proving people wrong? Why are they important? It's about the work that you're doing. And that's why for me, it's always about the small I. In everything that I do, it's not about me, it's about those I serve. So I call myself a servant leader, and through that, it helps me to deal with opposition, naysayers, etc. But that's
wow. Thank you so much. And Sevan.
For me, I think it was brought into perspective when I was listening one day to Crystal Tomlinson. She was talking about it after she really with the whole letter situation, and she said that you have to take from what is being said those things that benefit you, and treat all the other things as water off a duck's back. And that is how I have operated. Because some of the time, as Chevron rightfully said, the naysayers can say some certain things that can make the process better. And so I think it is important that we're able to make that distinction as to what is important. But even in engaging, it's important that you identify what are going to be the risk factors, those things that you can control and those things that you can't control. Because Christina would have said last year, and I'll never forget it, it's one of the most memorable speeches I've ever heard from a guild president, that you are enough. And you have to get comfortable over time by telling yourself that you are enough and what you're doing is enough. Because if you fixate on many of these things that people are saying, then you might just lose sight of the reason you're doing the very thing that you're a part of. So continue to tell yourself, self-love is very important. So just continue to tell yourself that you're enough and treat what the people are saying, break them down into two groups. Whatever improves you. What doesn't improve you, then just throw it away. That's what
Wow. All. I am in agreement with all three things, to be honest. But to start back with you, Sevan, what would you say is your greatest accomplishment and why? And then we're going to follow by Christina and then Siobhan. So what is your greatest accomplishment and why?
As in as a student leader?
Well, just in general.
In life?
Right.
Oh, boy, greatest accomplishment. I think you haven't fixated on it. I think it's yet to come because I'm so glued to my role model, and I consider my role model to be my future self. because I'm aspiring to inspire myself, and I have yet to define what that is. But if I were to pick something now, I think it would be my selfless contribution to my siblings. I think they're an actualization of some of the things that I could not do when I was younger. And so I find it very responsible to invest in them. And I think how they're materializing, self-actualizing is very impressive. And so I celebrate a lot with the accomplishments that they do. And I find that it informs a lot of the things that I even do in terms of development and so forth, because they're pretty much who I practice on. And so I incorporate many of the things that I do learn from interacting with them in my committee management and so forth. So I think it's my investment, I'd say, in my siblings and how they've met a lot of the targets that we've set out for each other.
I'm laughing because Savon always utilizing his terminologies. It does not matter what he's saying. Okay, I share similar sentiments as the Steph, because it's difficult for me to say this is my greatest achievement when I believe I am a work in progress as we speak. But I would say that the past 10 years of service to students across the length and breadth of Jamaica in different capacities has been one of my greatest accomplishments, not so much to say an accomplishment, but more as a purpose. I think with everything, it has been a platform of purpose for me. And so I would say this was my purpose, this is my purpose, and I'm living my purpose. I think it was an incredible opportunity for me to serve the guild during COVID, when COVID just came in March and everybody had turned food and headless chicken, and student leaders never understood the concept of leading during a pandemic. I was president of 20,000 students, and I was also ICGC chair at the time. So imagine you have 60,000 students overall in the US system, plus what you have on campus. And to be able to stand in front of that with my team, big up Savon, who's also part of my team here, and to really represent for our students. We provided transportation for students on and off campus, and even subsidized taxis. We provide about $4 million worth of food supplies for them while they were there. We gave concessions, hall and tuition concessions for students. We kept the registration down even during COVID. We provided scholarships and bursaries even during COVID. And it was incredible, but it wasn't because of me, of course. It was because of the 45 member team and all the sponsors and partners that came on board. So I think that was a great accomplishment for our team. Thank you.
Wow.
All right, so someone asked me that before, what was my greatest accomplishment? And you know, I was just at a loss. I didn't know like what to say. What is my greatest accomplishment as a leader? And of course, we have given scholarships, bursaries. We've risen the amount of subsidies that we give. In my year, we gave over 100 students jobs. We assisted to fix the roads. We've done numerous things, but none of these things will really say make an everlasting impact. They don't immortalize anybody. But I remember the reason why I came into student leadership in the first place was simply to help people, because I wanted to build people. I'm of the impression that if you live your life without helping anyone else, then your life really is worth nothing. So one day I was walking on the spine in Chancellor Hall, and this first year guy came up to me and he said, "You're Siobhan Williams?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "You came to speak to me at my high school, and you spoke to us about opportunities to get to the University of the West Indies, and you helped me realize that there are different avenues to get to where I want to get." And he thanked me and he said that if it weren't for you, I would not be at the university right now. And that to me, trumped any amount of money that I could give to any academy or any agency, any amount of assistance I could give to any clubs, anything that I could have done to in any capacity, because I was able to take somebody from their status quo and bring them into a new way of thinking, and bring somebody. This person is now the first person in his family who has gone beyond high school education. And when he graduates, he's going to elevate himself even further and bring his family with him. So to know that I was able to be that person, that to me really stands out. And a number of other students have come to me with similar stories. And I believe truly that is a reason why we all become leaders. That's the reason why we have sessions like this, so that we can help others bring on the truest them.
Right, amazing work, guys. Just for the interest of time, I have about 3 questions left. I'll just be asking each individual a question. Just to kind of just save us some little time here. So I'm going to just randomly select somebody, and I think I want to go with Christina. I don't know why, maybe because you're the older woman on the panel. So Christina, what is one common mistake that student leaders often make?
Oh my, I didn't want this question. Okay. One common mistake I think I made as well is that student leadership are gonna make sure say my boss and go on with their things. Boss in the sense, after student leadership, mega have like 10,000 followers on Instagram. I'm probably gonna get to sponsor me here and sponsor me clothes because but that's not true. Student leadership is one of the most ungrateful things that you could do, in the sense that no matter how, and Shaban can tell us a former president, no matter how much you do, you're gonna hear years later, oh, Shaban is a good president, Christina, good president, she should have woke up with her afro. No matter how much no matter how much work you do, there will always be one and few people who think you did nothing. And that's just how it is as a student leader and as a politician overall, because that's what we are really, we get elected, we're politicians. So it can be ungrateful work, it can be grueling work, and it's work that could drive you insane if you're not careful. Because when I was president, I was actually a final year undergrad student. So here I was watching my GPA, forget a nice degree, and here I am watching the work I need to do as president. And yeah, watch the GPA go down and the work I go up, or the work I go down and the GPA. It's a very fine line. And then you're saying to yourself, but I'm doing all of this, and then the students them still are complaining. So it's hard work, it's ungrateful work. But as Siobhan said something a while ago, which is so important. If you can touch even one life, if you can touch a single life with the work that you're doing as a student leader, that can go a far way. Quickly, just before I started to speak, I was looking in the chat, and someone, I don't know if the young lady is still here, she messaged me privately and she said, "You don't know me, Christina, but I've been watching your work and you inspire me and you move me to do a lot more with my life." That's just a while ago in the chat. And I was coming in a little kind of groupy and moody because I've been thinking about my grades from last semester, and I'm like, this semester started, I kind of feel like we need to push more. So I was a little moody, to be honest. But as I saw that message from that young lady, I feel I could have just moved some mountains again and do president again if I wanted to, because she inspired me with encouragement. So if you can inspire one life, that's all it takes. Thank you.
Truly. Amazing. Savon, what is one life lesson you've learned during your tenure as a student leader?
One life lesson, boy. Well, my long years, my many years. One thing I've learned is, let me put it into perspective. When student leaders, especially the Common Guild Council, they do not realize that they're operating in a bubble. And so once they're in this space, they feel very powerful. I don't know what kind of superpowers the red shirt gives them, but they feel very, very powerful. And as a result of that, they take certain things for granted, how they interplay with other people. They lose relationships, all these sort of things. They get so caught up in the space that they lose who they are. And my first year on the Guild Council, somebody told me that, Sevon, being on the Guild Council is like a bubble. And what many Guild Councillors don't do is that they don't prepare themselves for when the bubble pops. And so when the bubble pops, you're back in the real world. You're now a normal student. What are you after this process? Who are you after this process? And so I started to think about it. What do I want to get out of it in terms of development, in terms of informing who I am and those sort of things? And out of it, I was able to find my profession or the area that I want to go in, and I want to focus on workforce development eventually through the PhD program. So I found a way to incorporate my development in the process, because I was not going to allow my bubble to pop and I'm sitting there, oh, what next? What next? So a lot of people go into this process and get so caught up in the whole flair of the things and don't invest in themselves as well. And that is something that I'd recommend to anybody who decides to venture into leadership. Make the most of the process. Do not see yourself as better than the students, because you're just a student like them, you know. So you can't see yourself as I'm up here and they're down. You're elected in a position to represent their views. Only one student could do it, and you are that student. So respect them, and respect will be given. So embrace the process, prepare yourself for the future, and make the most of your life, really and truly. As I always say, if better is possible, then good is not enough. And I wanted that when my better came, I was far more improved than when I started on the Guild Council.
Wow, a great message here. And for Siobhan, for you now, the final question: what is your greatest lesson you've learned from your mentor or your role model? Your mic is muted, Siobhan. Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
So I like to draw knowledge from a lot of different people, right? And one of the persons that I look up to, all right, let me say two of the people I look up to: Walt Disney and Steve Jobs. I look up to Walt Disney because he took an idea and he turned it into an entire world. He crafted something that sings in the hearts of people all over the world. No matter how young or old you are, I'm sure everyone in here has said, I want to go to Disney World. Everyone on this chat watching this right now has said, I want to go to Disney World. Because it's something that resonates with you. And that's something that he did. He was creative. And I believe as a leader, you have to be creative. I respect Steve Jobs because he was creative in what he did. He was one of the most innovative people in the world. He said, innovation is the difference between a leader and a follower. Now, a leader is somebody who comes up with a brilliant idea and carries it on. A follower is just somebody who repeats the same thing over and over. If you can be creative in your leadership, if you can challenge the status quo and do things that weren't done before, then you can be a leader. Mr. McIntosh is a great leader because as a Guild librarian, he created the Super Librarian, the Librarian Chronicles, and he did something that no other librarian has done. He revamped that portfolio and he made it into something that stands today. Christina was exemplary because she was the first COVID president and she changed the status quo and she carried out activities that none of us did, none of us had to do. So she was placed in that avenue and she was able to find some creative ways to go around it and she carried on. If it is that you are a leader, then innovation is your friend. That's the lesson that I have. Anything that you do, be creative, be innovative, and that's how you'll find your path.
Thank you so much. I must say though, thank you to all who are
Your mic is covered, Kareem.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Right. I was saying thank you very much, Siobhan, and thank you to all three of you. You know, Siobhan, Christina, and Siobhan. Listen, you guys have literally done some great things, and just by listening to what you're saying, I am inspired. So imagine, you know, university students, you guys have done some great work, and I hope that, you know, in your future endeavors, you know, you will continue on the same path. Don't be derailed any at all. But thank you guys so much for joining.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me.
It was a real pleasure.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Bye, Christina. All right, that was an interesting panel. I really, you know, as I said, I really learned a lot, and not only just learning about their roles, but just to show you that, you know, leadership, they take it very seriously. So that is a wonderful, wonderful thrill, by the way. So at this moment, I'm going to just ask some questions. This is the final giveaways for the night. We're kind of pushed for time. So quickly, I am going to, it's 3 sets of questions, by the way, or 3 questions. The first one is, name the past positions of the members of the panel when they were on the guild professional. Oh, no, wait, come again. Name the past positions of the members of the panel when they were on the guild. And the winner will be getting a professional headshot by AU79. No guild counselor can answer, or committee members. And this is for our Zoom listeners. Once again, if you're on a committee member, you cannot answer. If you're a guild counselor, you also cannot answer. And so the question once again is, name the past positions of the members of the panel when they were on the guild. And you win a professional headshot by one of our own sponsors, AU79. And the question number 2 now, name 2 sponsors for the conference, and we're selecting these winners from the listeners on YouTube. And you'll get a full acrylic set from Stay Good Nails by Kim. Wow, okay, festive. So once again, name 2 sponsors of the conference. Well, for the conference, my apologies. And we'll be selecting those winners from our YouTube viewers. And for both winners, you'll win a full acrylic set from Stay Good Nails by Kim. From the name Stay Good Nails, you know, that's something festive. Love that for us. And also, the third and final question is, name the alma mater of Debbie Bassoon, which I said it more than once. So name the alma mater of Debbie Bassoon, and you'll get a free makeup done by Beats by Aphrodite. Yes, and we'll select one winner from our Zoom participants. So they will select a winner, the first person that answered the questions correctly. You will win your face Beats by Aphrodite, Beat and all these things. So, you know, congrats to all the winners for tonight. At this moment, though, I'll be inviting Brittany Hutchinson, and she'll be giving the vote of thanks. Brittany, are you here?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be expressing my greatest gratitude to everyone who attended the EAC's Best Self Conference. Firstly, I would like to thank our host, Mr. Kareem Weathers, who did an excellent job at keeping us quite engaged with his great presence this evening. Secondly, I would also like to thank our astounding guest speakers, JNW ambassadors, Mr. Siobhan Williams, Mr. Jeffrey Azan, Mr. Savon McIntosh, Miss Christina Williams, and Miss Debbie Bassoon for sharing testimonies, the importance of personal branding and financial literacy, among other interesting aspects of their best selves, to motivate, educate, and most of all, inspire us to embrace our best selves. Lastly, but by no means least, a big thank you to members of the EAC and of course our participants who have been actively attending our week's events, which would not have been possible without you. I hope this was truly a remarkable conference where you all mentally absorbed and learned how to embrace your best self. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brittany. And it was my pleasure, by the way. You know, although we had some few hiccups and, you know, technology problems and some things and some things and some things. And I'm on the campus. And if you guys are students of this school, you know that sometimes some things just don't go as planned here. But it was my pleasure, and I really enjoyed it. Like, for me to sit down for 2 hours and listen to all of the presentations, trust me, it was really, really good. But just to say though, remember the EAC week continues this Saturday on IG, that's army_of_good. Once again, EAC week continues this Saturday on their Instagram page, army_of_good, with Army Chat. And also my mental health comes first, resumes on Wednesday with the virtual games night. I don't know if no one invite me. Yeah, man, you can invite me one. So the virtual games night is this Wednesday. My mental health comes first, resumes once again this Wednesday. That's the virtual games night. And EAC week continues this Saturday. Just for some closing thoughts of mine. You know, once again, thank you guys. I know that, you know, you guys are all students and stuff like that. And if you are a follower of mine or you've supported my brand, you know where things come from, you know, pushing through adversities. So no matter what it is that you're going through, you have a purpose, you have a goal, yeah, things that you can be great. You understand? And it's coming from me, and thank you guys so much for having me. I don't have any problem coming again. You understand? And do have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening. Stay safe.
I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown in my